foreign policy or domestic policy, you're going to see real change come to Washington in this country.
Right, but does he want President Obama to step aside, let him take care of it in 35 days, or is he willing? Is he willing to deal with whatever Obama decides to do right now?
Well, I think the problem that we have right now, Eric, is this, that we hear a lot of sources that say the following happened or didn't happen. On November 17th, the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, spoke to the House Intelligence Committee, and at that time, he said that they had no conclusive proof that the WikiLeaks and the other revelations were conclusively tied to Russia. Now, if President Obama does have that information and the intelligence conclusively points to it, then he needs to make decisions that are based in the country's best interest. But I think that one of the things that the media keeps conflating is an attempt to say if Russia or other entities are probing, different sites, which is what you get all the time, these so-called phishing exercises, where they send emails and try to find ways to break through different accounts into data. That's one thing. But there is zero proof that they had any impact on the election in terms of the outcome. And I think that what's happening now is an attempt by folks on the left and some folks in the media, frankly, to delegitimize the huge win that Donald Trump had. And I think that it's sad because if you think about where we were 38 days ago prior to the election, it was the administration and others in the media saying that we need to have absolute integrity in our election, and anyone who questions it should be, shouldn't be taken seriously because we have so many voting systems. There's no way that you could compromise the integrity of our election. So
I find it curious that President Obama today said that, yeah, he knew that we had intel that they were hacking, yet he chose yesterday to say, in his words, we will take action.
Well, and I think that if we do, but one of the things that's really gotten lost in this, and again, I want to make it very clear to everyone watching, any foreign entity or any entity that seeks to undermine or interfere in a U.S. election should be stopped. Full stop, no question about it. But if you look at what happened, it was Hillary Clinton who had a secret server that wasn't in accordance with government regulations. It was the DNC that didn't keep up with their technology security measures that's been reported. It was John Podesta and Hillary Clinton, and Jennifer Palmieri, and Nina Teerden, and David Brock that wrote the things that got out. And it was the mainstream media that covered it. This is not Donald Trump's fault. This is not the Republicans' fault. They brought this scandal to their doorstep, and now they are trying to do everything they can to deflect from what they brought to themselves.
Okay, Sean, you've been floated as a possible next press secretary. Have you been asked?
No, I haven't.
How will President-elect Donald Trump and President Donald Trump's relationship with the media evolve? What do you expect going forward with that relationship?
Well, I think that it's a two-way street. For so long, the media has held politicians captive because most politicians, frankly, need the outlet. They need the media to communicate a message. Donald Trump has shown that he, more effectively than, frankly, anybody else, celebrity, politician, you name it, can effectively get out a message to the American people and have a two-way dialogue with them in a way that no one ever has in our history. And I think that it scares the media, frankly. Now, he understands that the media is a very healthy part of our democracy. They need to be part of the process. But that he doesn't need them in the same way that everybody else has, I think, frankly, worries them a bit.
Yeah, and so will he, therefore, restructure access that the media has to the presidency?
No. Look, he is unbelievably transparent. There's a camera, for goodness sake, in Trump Tower that shows everybody going up and down. We've allowed press to have access. They're in a pool that follows him now. He understands that they're a healthy part of the democracy. But I think that he also has the ability to speak directly to the American people like no one else has.
So there's a thing called the Trump way, and we talked about it, and you've done things differently, and frankly, you've won doing things differently. How do you think the relationship with the media should change? In what way should President Donald Trump be tweeting?
Well, of course he should be, and it's been effective. I think people don't like it sometimes because he does have this direct line to the American people, and he, frankly, in a lot of cases, is able to bypass the mainstream media. But to your first question, I think that one of the things that he realizes is that he has this dialogue with the American people, and he wants to expand it, whether it's through Facebook Live or Twitter. He has a way to have a back-and-forth dialogue with the American people. that is something very, very unique to him, and it's something that he's going to continue to do. But he will continue and then frankly, the other thing is that I think the mainstream media has had a stranglehold on a lot of stuff, and I think that we've seen conservative media play a much bigger role, and they should be brought into this process a lot more as well.
All right. I would thank you very much, Sean Spicer. We appreciate your time. And by the way, Donald Trump having 30 million Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram followers. Boy, that's some access that he has to the American public. Leave it right there, Sean. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
And we're still waiting for Donald Trump to take the stage at his big thank you rally in Orlando. When it happens, we will take you there live. But next on the rundown right here, how should the United States and the incoming Trump administration respond to the alleged Russian hacking attacks? That debate is upcoming. Welcome back. We're still waiting for Donald Trump to take the stage at his thank you rally in Orlando, Florida. When it happens, we'll take you there live. Meantime, in the Impact segment tonight, how should the U.S. respond to the apparent hacking attacks from Russia? As I mentioned earlier, President Obama addressed the issue during an interview with NPR.
I think there is no doubt that when any foreign government tries to impact the integrity of our elections, that we need to take action, and we will.
Joining us now from Washington with reaction, Michael Rubin, author of Dancing with the Devil, The Perils of Engaging Rogue Regimes, and from Houston, national security analyst Arash Aramesh. Arash, let's talk a little bit about that. Later on, or earlier today, actually, President Obama, in his long press conference, said our message to Russia, don't do this to us anymore because we can do stuff to you. That doesn't sound like there's a lot of teeth in that threat against retaliating against Russian hacks.
You know, President Obama apparently told President Putin of Russia about a month ago that he needs to cut it out. Actually, about 2 months ago, right before the election, told the Russian president that you need to cut out all these interferences and meddling into our election. Here's what happened.
Or what? And here's the problem. Cut it out 2 months ago, or we'll do stuff to you today. I don't know. If I'm Putin, I'm going, whoa, okay, I'll stop right now.
Well, we have plenty of tools in our arsenal that we can hit the Russians back with it. But here's what happened. There are a few sacred rights as an American: right to free speech, right to free assembly. And one of those very sacred rights is the right to vote, and to make sure that that electoral system, that's the sanctity of that electoral system, is protected and it's safe. Russian governments and senior intelligence officials in that government, and now we know President Putin himself, because of a personal vendetta against Hillary Clinton,
I want to bring Michael in.
And then they leaked it, and they leaked it, and they leaked it, and they get...
But there's no recourse. They'll keep... I have a teenager, and you know what teens respond to? Punishment. They don't respond to idle threats, you know, stop doing that or else. The or else is what really counts. Michael, your thoughts?
Well, Obama's got no credibility on the international front. He should start leaking the details of Putin's Swiss bank accounts right away. He's got no credibility on the domestic front because when the Chinese stole 20 million personnel files from the office of from OPM, Obama refused to name the Chinese because he was afraid of it. And he's got no credibility when it comes to security because he hasn't punished anyone for leaks in this sort of operational security.
Okay, Rich, what about this? What about President Obama admitting today that, yeah, he was aware of the Russian hacking, but they haven't done anything, and now he's leveling a threat on this day?
You know what? Children do respond to threats, but they also respond to reward. And the best reward the Russian government can get is a Russia-friendly White House. And Donald Trump is going to promise them that. That was a main theme in his campaign. And people he's been appointing and he has appointed are very Russia-friendly. So that's one thing. Secondly, President Obama in the past couple of years has waged a very strong campaign of sanctions against Russian occupation of Ukraine and annexation of Crimea. On top of that, Russian President Vladimir Putin was certain that Hillary Clinton would have a much stronger, much tougher foreign policy against Russia that Donald Trump and his people would ever have. And on top of that, for all this time that we're talking about this, 17 U.S. intelligence agencies, including the CIA and now the FBI, are now confirming that senior Russian officials, including Vladimir Putin, were trying to influence the U.S. election to support Donald Trump.
Well, why is that, Arash? Why is that? So you just tell me they respond to rewards. We've rewarded Russia by not sanctioning them.
No, we have not.
Well, we sanction them lightly, though. We sanction them lightly. Michael?
And guess who wants to lift the sanctions? Tillerson wants to lift the sanctions. Donald Trump wants to lift the sanctions.
Tillerson said apply sanctions that have teeth. These sanctions have no teeth, and look what the Russians done. Let me bring Michael in.
If they have no teeth.
Absolutely. What needs to happen here? What needs to happen here, first of all, it's one thing for Obama to say these intelligence agencies are all on board with the assessment, but why is he refusing to brief the House Intelligence Committee, which has been asking for the evidence because they haven't been given it? What we really need, and I'm suspicious of Russia, make no mistake, is for the Congress to start asserting its oversight and basically to call out the president, no more of these announcements without the intelligence to back it up. And when it comes to Rex Tillerson, if Congress doesn't want the sanctions, if Congress wants the sanctions in place, they got to play hardball with the State Department, and a little game of good cop, bad cop could go a long way. It's about time we actually had a strategy.
So, Arash, what about that? Michael makes a very good point. Where's the, listen, I know James Comey has decided today he's signing on board with the CIA and James Clapper with the DNA. I get that, but where's the evidence? Can the American people at least see the evidence when we're talking about this, if they're all in unison?
And I certainly hope that the president would declassify as much of this intelligence as possible before Donald Trump takes the oath of office. And I also certainly hope to see a bipartisan commission, just like the 9/11 Commission report. I would like to see a bipartisan commission to be formed and to investigate this. This is not a Trump versus Hillary issue. This is an American election, American right to vote issue. The Russians have influenced and meddled in elections in Ukraine, in Moldova, in many places around the world, especially in Eastern Europe. We should never allow them to do that on U.S. soil and with our elections. So let's have a bipartisan commission to address these issues, to get to the bottom of this. And I urge this administration, President Obama, to declassify as much as he can. Because you know what? To be frank, I have very little faith in a Republican-led, Republican-controlled House and Senate that for so long have hesitated to actually investigate these allegations.
But President Obama said, we will take action. Should he, 35 days left until he tosses the keys to Donald Trump. Should he take action in those 35 days against Russia?
Absolutely, and I promise you that there will be action, and there will be action in those 35 days. Hopefully, Donald Trump will not reverse those actions because he would like to actually show a nicer face to the Russians. Yes, President Obama should declassify intelligence, should take action, and if I were the president, I were his national security team, I would start declassifying those documents, and I would start urging Congress to appoint a bipartisan commission to get to the bottom of this. This is important.
Final thought, Michael. Should President Obama take action with 35 days to go?
Absolutely, if he has the proof, and amen to a bipartisan commission to look into this. We got to play hardball with Russia. For us, diplomacy is how to get to yes. For Russia, it's a zero-sum game, and we can't blame our predecessors instead of our adversaries.
Got to leave it right there, Michael Arash. Thank you very much. And a quick reminder, you can go to BillO'Reilly.com right now to bid on this iconic Make America Great Again hat, hand-signed by President-elect Donald Trump. 100% of the proceeds from this auction will benefit the Fisher House. And also, the Bill O'Reilly Christmas store is now open. Tickets to see Dennis Miller, Jesse Waters, and Bill remain only for the shows in Tulsa, Tacoma, and Omaha. Also, this Sunday, right here on FNC at 8, you can catch Legends and Lies about George Washington's epic Christmas battle. Meanwhile, we're still waiting for President-elect Donald Trump to take the center stage at his thank you rally in Orlando. We're going to take you there live when he begins. But up next, Michelle Obama causes a stir after taking a not-so-veiled shot at Donald Trump's election victory. Right back with all that. We appear to be moments away from Donald Trump taking the spotlight at his big rally in Orlando, Florida. We'll bring you that as soon as we see him. Meantime, in the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, how the left is handling the incoming Trump administration. In short, not well. Case in point, Michelle Obama's recent comments to Oprah Winfrey.
Your husband's administration, everything, the election, was all about hope. Do you think that this administration achieved that?
Yes, I do, because we feel the difference now.
Yeah.
See, now we're feeling what not having hope feels like. You know, hope is necessary. It's a necessary concept. What else do you have if you don't have hope?
Those are some dire words. So why are so many Democrats still unable to accept the future President Donald Trump? Joining us now to analyze from West Babylon, New York, Brad Blakeman, a Republican strategist, and from Washington, Democratic strategist Adam Green. Adam, to start with you. All of a sudden, here we are, almost 8 years later. Now hope is vanishing. Hope is vanishing because Donald Trump won the election?
Well, frankly, I think a lot of Trump's own voters are losing hope, given what he's done the last couple of days. I mean, people went to the polls and voted for Trump because they thought he was campaigning against the political establishment and the corporate establishment, and instead he served up nomination after nomination, taken action after action that shows that he's fighting for giant Wall Street banks and giant international corporations at the expense of American workers. I mean, when he appoints someone for Treasury Secretary who got rich by foreclosing on people's homes, including one lady who accidentally paid 27 cents less than she was supposed to and lost her home because of that, that people are losing hope when that kind of person is put in charge of our entire economy.
Hey, Brad,
so, yeah, people are losing hope.
You know what's hopeful? At the end of the year, when so many millions of Americans are going to open up their 401k and say, you know what, look, not so bad, up 8% in the last month and a half alone, that's hopeful. But I'm just curious at the timing of Mrs. Obama's comment that hope is leaving right now.
Well, isn't it something that hope is leaving when her husband's leaving? But Eric, I had just had a flashback when she said that to 2008, when she said she really never felt good about America or proud about America until her husband left. Her husband won the presidency. And now she's saying that hope is gone because her husband's leaving. This is a self-absorbed family. A selfish family. She should be hopeful for the country. We had free and fair elections. Donald Trump won. And yet there is no uniting of this country like there was Republicans and Democrats when Barack Obama was elected. We all came together as a country and gave him the benefit of the doubt. But they have no reason to do that for Donald Trump. And it's really sad. And it's sad for the Obamas that they feel that they need to do that at this time, disuniting the country.
And not only that, we hear college professors giving students days off because they were worried about how they were feeling. We heard another college, I think it was University of Pennsylvania, Trump's alma mater, suggesting here's a puppy to make you feel better because of the election stress. I mean, this is the left all getting together and saying this thing is going to be so horrible. Is it?
It's really not just the left. I mean, Brad, I'm kind of curious. I mean, do you think that a politician should keep or break their campaign promises? When he says he would not cut Social Security, and right now Republicans in Congress, with his consent apparently, are drafting up bills to cut or privatize Social Security and block grant Medicare.
Adam,
I mean, that is a source of losing
He's not
hope.
even president yet. You can't say
he's not president yet. He's already breaking promises.
I'll let
People
Brad
go to the
answer,
polls
but you
on November 8th and vote for more Goldman Sachs bankers? I don't think so.
Adam, no spin zone, right? You can't say that the Republicans in Congress are drafting something with the president-elect's consent. That's not happening. You know that's not happening. That's not fair. Brad, go ahead. You've worked behind the scenes.
Look, here's what's happening: is the president-elect is putting together a cabinet of professionals. These are people who have actually done something. And what you're going to see is you're not going to see
professional bankers.
No, professionals who have worked in the best interest of their country and the best interest of their company.
You were right. You almost said best interest of their companies. You were right when you said that.
They're successful. That's what you do when you're in business.
They were successful at foreclosing on homes.
You're used to hacks. You're used to hacks and political professionals, and that's exactly what America doesn't want. We have a town in Washington that's dysfunctional. Nothing gets done.
America wants
you know what's going to be brought back? Compromise is going to be brought back without principle being thrown off to the side.
Adam, let's talk about it a little bit. Yeah, there's a couple of guys who are bankers, but you also have Rex Tillerson, who is the CEO of Exxon. You have the CEO of Carl's Jr., who's running the Labor Department. I mean, these are professionals. These are the top of their field. And guys, I'm going to have to hold you here for a minute. I want to talk to you for a little bit as we watch President-elect Donald Trump shake the hand of Vice President-elect Mike Pence. He's about to take the stage in Orlando on his thank you rally in Orlando. I want to hold you guys, but let's take a listen to Donald Trump.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's start off by saying Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. I'm here today for one main reason, to say thank you to the incredible people of Florida. What a group. As you know, Florida is my second home. In many ways, it's my first home. And I love this state. I love the people. I love the people of the state. You propelled to victory a grassroots movement, the likes of which the world they've never seen it before. Look at these people. How many people are here? Man, that's a lot of people. They say we broke the record tonight, by the way, folks. We broke the record. Incredible. Incredible people. The patriots in this audience tonight stood up to the global special interests and delivered a historic win for the American worker. American worker. With your votes, is that friend or foe? Friend or foe? I think it's friend. A loud friend, but a friend, right? With your votes, the great citizens of this country declared to the world that from now on, it's going to be America first. America first. Let me also take a moment to really recognize and thank our terrific Governor Rick Scott for being here tonight. And Pam Bondi, who's in the audience someplace. She is an incredible person. So Pam, thank you. Rick, thank you very much. These are truly amazing people. I also, thank you. I love you too, darling. I even love the guy that said I love you. What can I tell? And he's a rough-looking dude down there. I also want to give a very special thanks to you, the men and women in the United States military. We are in your debt, and we will never let you down. Now, you know, we did very well with many, many different groups. We did fantastically well with the African American community. We did fantastically well with the Hispanic community. We have a lot of people here tonight from the India community. Hindus, we did great with the Hindus. In fact, where are they? We have a big group. Boy, did we do. There they are. I want to thank you. You folks were amazing. They went out and they voted, and they were fantastic. And we did well with women. Women. But you know, and by the way, how about the evangelicals? How good was that? A world record. Evangelical Christians. We set the all-time record in the history of elections in this country, evangelicals. We're going to honor our troops, and it really begins with restoring respect for our great American flag. Is that right? We're going to defend the flag our heroes fought and died for to protect. And I want to tell you, I don't like when I see people burning our flag. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And you don't like it. And we're going to try doing something about it, all right? We're going to do something about it. We're also going to rebuild our badly depleted military. We have the greatest people in the world in our military. We are going to rebuild our depleted military, and we're going to finally take care of our great veterans. Where are the veterans tonight? America. America pursues this vast military power in the hopes that we do not have to use it, but will be prepared if we have to. There's rarely been a time when we've needed military power more than it is right now, and we're going to have it. It's going to be peace through strength. Peace through strength. At the same time, our foreign policy needs a new direction. We've spent $6 trillion in the Middle East, and now it's in worse shape than it's ever been before. Years of horror. And look at what's happening over there right now. $6 trillion, and look what's happened. It's death. It's a horrible thing. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to get it straightened out one way or another. But just think of it, all of that money, all of those lives, and I mean lives on both sides, tremendous lives, tremendous numbers of people, and we have nothing. It's 15 times worse than it was when we started. So we're going to start using our head. We're going to do things right, and we're going to try and patch that up, and we're going to try and help people. We're going to build safe zones. We're not having them come over. We're going to build safe zones in Syria. We're going to build safe zones. And we're going to get the Gulf states to pay for the safe zones. And we're going to try and help people. We're going to try and we're going to get it done. Meanwhile, at home, our infrastructure is crumbling, our schools are failing, and our workers can't find good-paying jobs. You know that. Oh, we're going to change that so fast, your heads are going to spin. Instead of rebuilding foreign nations, it's time to rebuild our nation, and that's what we're going to do. For too long, we've been moving from one reckless intervention to another, countries that most of you have never even heard of before. It's crazy, and it's going to stop. A Trump administration will focus on the vital national security interests of the United States. And that means crushing ISIS rapidly and defeating radical Islamic terrorism. Importantly, America will also stand with the Cuban people in their long struggle for freedom. And I want to appreciate, I'll tell you what, their support has been unbelievable. Their support has been unbelievable. Thank you. The Cuban people, we know what we have to do, and we'll do it, so don't worry about it. The numbers have been incredible. In fact, they gave me, just prior to the election, the Bay of Pigs Award, and let me tell you, that was a great honor for me. So I want to thank the people, the Cuban people. To be a strong nation, we must also be a rich nation, a wealthy nation, and we will be. Whether it's exploring space or curing disease, we want the next generation of innovation and production to happen right here in America and right here in our great state of Florida, right? And you know, speaking of Florida, I don't know if you want to hear this, but should I discuss that one day, a day in the life? Should we do that or not? I always say, should we do it? And everybody wants to do it. You probably heard it before, but we'll make it Florida-oriented because this was a big, big win. We won easily. We won by a tremendous number of votes. And if you watch television, if you watch these very dishonest people back here, man, is that a lot. Well, you know, first of all, you know, maybe before we start, this field is massive, and I'm looking back there, and with the lights you can't see, but I'm seeing, there they are, look at that. That is a lot of people. Man, that is, I'll tell you, that is a lot of people back there. Let's see if we can get the cameras to turn around and capture the size of this audience. They won't do it, but let's give it a shot. Man, that's a big crowd. You know what we should have done? We should have had all those thousands of people behind the cameras We should have had the cameras back and the people forward. Because we waste our time with these people. We should have had the cameras back. Next time, please do that. Just move the cameras back. You know, the equipment is so great nowadays that they can microscope it and we can get it nice. They could be all the way in the back and it won't make any difference for television. They're screaming, move them back. You believe it? Move them back. All right, look, you know what? Hey, here's the bottom line. They're very dishonest. They've written very dishonestly about all of us. This is a movement like they've never seen before. And yet, we won, folks. We won, right? And you see the other side is complaining. You watch, I mean, they're all complaining. Oh, gee. Well, before the election, when they thought they were going to win, and I didn't, I'll tell you what, that final week was magic. Every place we went, we had crowds like this. And you're going to have 22,000 people here tonight. More. You got thousands outside that can't get in. That's pretty good when you can't get into a field, okay? And I spoke actually to the fire marshal. I said, can't you let more people in the back? They said, no. I said, why? There's no fire here. They said, no, sir, it's stampede. I said, stampede? No, seriously, that's how many people we have. They're worried about a stampede. At least we know it's going to be a friendly stampede, right? Very friendly. Well, I really appreciate you being here. This is incredible. And this is really, you know, I had this idea. We won. And we won very easily. We had 306. Remember they said he cannot get to 270. There is no path to 270, right? I went to Maine 4 times because I wanted to get 1 vote. Maine had 1. I needed the 1 because I believed these people. So what happened is this. We went out and we watched the media and we believed the media. And the media is very dishonest. They were even dishonest in their exit polls, right? Now, what's the purpose of being dishonest in an exit poll when you're going to find out the truth in 3 hours? What are they doing? Other than tormenting us because we thought for about 2 or 3 hours we were going to lose, right? But it started about 3 months before the election when we heard the great state of Texas, which I thought we were doing great in, and Georgia, what a great state, and Utah, and you heard it, Georgia is in play. Now that means that, you know, like I could lose it. Now, you shouldn't lose it as a Republican. You lose Georgia, you're in big trouble. So they said Georgia's in play. He's even. He's even in Georgia. I said, man, I thought I was way up. In Texas, Texas is in play. And I said, this is not good. And then we had the exit polls. And my daughter and my son-in-law called me, and they said, Pop, not looking good. Not looking good. And I really thought, you know, I was already preparing in my mind. I was saying, well, if that's the way it is, because they were faulty polls. I mean, they were faulty. But they said Ivanka. Has anyone ever heard of Ivanka? She said, Dad, I'm telling you, it's... don't worry about it, Dad. It's okay. I said, I can't believe it that we're going to lose. I can't believe it because I've been, you know, I see these crowds. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, bottom line, the polls close, right? And they go, Donald Trump has won the great state of Texas. I said, what happened? Like in 2 minutes. Donald Trump, breaking news. Donald Trump has won Georgia. Donald Trump has won Utah. Now, these were states for 2 months they're talking about that were even. And in fact, in Utah, I had this character that nobody ever saw before. Nobody ever heard of him before. I said to my wife, that's correct, that's his name. He said, Evan McMuffin. Do you believe this? Or something like that. I never heard of this guy before. Nobody did. And the polls said, he is even with Donald Trump. My wife said, she looked at the television, she said, he's not even with you. Believe me, he's not even. Anyway, so we win. They all love Melania. Is Melania great? She's great. She is great. She is a solid rock, great person. And she loves you, and she's enjoying herself, I'll tell you that. It's much better to win than to lose. Do we agree with that? So Utah, it gets announced very early. Breaking news, Donald Trump has won Utah. Now, we didn't just win it. We, slaughtered it. And Evan, whoever this is, this person, remember he said, we think we can win the election. We said, but you're only going to win maybe Utah. And you know what he would have done if he did? Maybe. It didn't turn out that way because we had plenty of votes, plenty of everything. But all he would oh, I don't know if he's a lightweight. We should never say that. That's not good. Don't ever call a person like that a lightweight. Boy, what a group. Only in Florida can this stuff happen. But we won Utah by a lot, like a real lot. And it was a massive, and Evan didn't even come in second. Hillary came in second, okay? So again, I really believe it was dishonest polling, but you know, who knows, right? Who thinks it was dishonest by the media? I do. I do. I do. So we open up with that. Then all of a sudden, Ohio, where they had us down for 2 months, as even, we win by almost 10 points. So we hear, and we were supposed to win maybe by 2 points or 1 point or 3 points. And I had a little hostile environment. I had a governor that wasn't exactly like the great Rick Scott. I had a governor who, I said, how do you win a state when you don't have the support of the governor? Well, we won. I think I probably did better this way. So they go out and they say, breaking news, Donald Trump has won Ohio, and with a very big number. And then breaking news, Donald Trump has won Iowa by more than 10 points. That's unheard of, right? And then we come down to this beautiful piece of land that we all love, surrounded by the ocean, right? Surrounded by beautiful seas. It's a place called Florida. Have you ever heard of it? Has everybody heard of Florida? I love Florida. I love the people of Florida. So all night long, it's even. It's going even. And then they get to the Panhandle. Now, I don't know who lives in the Panhandle. Not too many. Did I blow them out in the Panhandle or what? You know why? Because the Panhandle wants its jobs back, okay? But the Panhandle was unbelievable. And we won Florida big, much bigger than anybody thought. Big. So they go, yeah, and you know, you had the other side. They were being interviewed saying, we will win Florida, and we expect to win it easily. Breaking news, Donald Trump wins the state of Florida, right? Right? And then we win South Carolina, and then we have North Carolina. Now, North Carolina was supposed to be close, very hard for the Republicans to win. A lot of reasons for that, but it's very hard. But we worked hard there and really effective. My children were there and everybody was there. They were working hard. And then it comes out, the Tar Heels, and then it comes out very strongly that Trump is looking good in North Carolina. And my opponent, I won't mention names because I wouldn't want to, but my opponent, they spent a fortune in North Carolina. And their people got on television. Jeez. Oh, that's so terrible. You know, here's what's happened. And I noticed because I did Ohio. We did Iowa. We did North Carolina. We did all over. Last night, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Did you see that crowd? Pennsylvania. And it's like, thank you, Florida. Thank you, Pennsylvania. We're doing a thank you. Nobody's ever heard of it before. That's why we all have more imagination than anybody that's ever done this, right? Because we're not politicians. But I'll tell you what I noticed. Okay, so I'll tell you what I noticed. So we go to Ohio and we go to Iowa. The crowds are incredible. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing people. So here's what I noticed. 4 weeks ago, just prior to, and always prior to, you people were vicious, violent, screaming, "Where's the wall? We want the wall!" Screaming, prison, prison, lock her up. I mean, you are going crazy. I mean, you were nasty and mean and vicious, and you wanted to win, right? Now, same crowds. That's right, deplorables. Whatever happened to the deplorables, right? They're not so deplorable. They're not so deplorable anymore. In fact, the other side's trying to figure out, well, in 4 years, how do we get some of these deplorables to our side, right? But now, it's much different. Now you're laid back, you're cool, you're mellow, right? You're basking in the glory of victory. And we're already getting to work. You see what we did with Carrier? We saved that. We're saving a lot of jobs. And many, many places. We got a lot of things going on. But we're going to do the big picture. But we sort of have to wait till we get in office. Don't you agree? You know. Just I'm having a hard time waiting. I just make phone calls. Listen, you can't move. But now you're mellow. And you're cool. And you're not nearly as vicious or violent. Right? Because we won, right? And now you're sort of laying back, although it doesn't exactly sound like a totally laid-back crowd, but that's okay. So the other side goes out, and they say, Trump cannot win North Carolina. That's our firewall. Remember on television, this is our firewall. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of North Carolina. Unbelievable. And then you look at Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania was always the state, they say, the bride that got away. Every Republican for 38 years, but every Republican, they left. And before the election, everybody thought, every single Republican, you're going to win Pennsylvania, right? You know that. It didn't work out that way at all. Never worked out that way. And we were campaigning in Pennsylvania. We were getting the biggest crowds they've ever had, they've ever seen by far. And I kept saying, we're going to win the state. But then I'd remember the statement. I'd hear it over and over that Republicans don't win it. They think they're going to win it, and they don't win it. And they wouldn't announce these crooked people back here. They wouldn't. No. They wouldn't announce it. Well, first of all, they were in a state of panic. They were in a state, because now we win Florida, and they were worried because we won Ohio by so much more than we were anticipated to win, and we won Iowa so big, and we won Florida so much bigger than we thought. And by the way, just to go back a few months, how good did we do in Florida in the primary, right? How good was that? Oh, that was good. But I don't talk about that anymore. We don't talk about it. So now they're getting nervous on television. And you see these anchors, and they're like sweating and crying and throwing up all over the place. And, you know, a couple of them with the chart. Nice guy, John King. He's very good with the chart. But now his hand is getting like a little... Because, you know, all those months he's saying there is no path to 270 for Donald Trump. There is no path. So now what happens? We're leading Pennsylvania. 306 is right. We're leading Pennsylvania by a lot. And we have 1%. It's at 99%. And it was there for hours. I said, why don't they? In fact, I consider it a win because The 1% was not nearly enough votes to win because we were leading by a lot. So what happened? They couldn't take it. But instead of announcing it like at 11 o'clock, they waited till like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Now, I think they did that for commercials, if you want to know the truth, because the audience was massive. But a couple of things happened that were a little bit surprising. We have breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump, and now the guy's getting sick. He's ready to throw up all over. Donald Trump, and this came out, and these people are incredible. I thought we were going to do well there. Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. Now they're saying, where did that come from? Where did it come from?